Okay, that was nothing. Alright, you're probably wondering why the red mask. Well, it's simple. Just to go, oh, bad guys can't see me bleed. Okay, in all seriousness, the reason that I'm wearing the mask is because at the time of this recording, my mom tested positive for COVID. So, yeah, I'm pretty much having to isolate myself away from her because there's a chance I might have COVID, but other than a few headaches, I feel totally fine. I mean, I haven't taken a COVID test yet, but like I said, other than a couple of few headaches, I feel totally fine. So, because I have to continue with isolation, let's just get into the next episode of Friendship is Magic, and it's an episode I'm questioning the reasons of why people hate it, because, again, I just can't get past the voice of reason's opinion of this next episode because of the derailment of two characters, but nothing about the episode itself, just that. And that qualifies as to be called the second worst episode of Season 7. And I just rewatched it and I'm not seeing it. You know what? Let's just get right into it. This is Rock Solid Friendship. So our episode begins at, I'm assuming, is this rock university. Can't believe anybody actually funded this. Where we're seeing the graduation of Maud, who is becoming a doctor in rocktology. And is the only pony there to be graduating.
Ladies and gentlefolks, what is that magnesium-rich basalt? It is my honor to present our valedictorian, Maud Pye. Excuse me, Dr. Pye.
It's gotta be really awkward to say, but yeah, I'm kind of questioning this place. Like, Equestria has universities? Does that mean Equestria has colleges? There's kind of a lot of gray area that I have to ask about that. Again, the world building gives you so many possibilities of what to think of in the future. So as we see the Pye family trying to be, well, Pye family, Maud gives her graduation speech.
I'm Maud. There's more, Pinkie. I'm Maud. Hi.
Let's be honest here, this would probably be an actual graduation speech if this was Maud. That would probably... Sorry, I just can't get past... But, yeah, so, essentially, Maud is basically... God, I feel so bad for the ponies on that train. But, yeah, essentially, Pinkie is ecstatic, not because Maud graduated, essentially, university, but because she is moving to Ponyville. Everybody got that?
Slow down, Pinkie Pie.
We're only 2 minutes in, and I'm not seeing what's wrong with the episode so far. Honestly, this episode's is leaving me in stitches, honestly. So there's not really much I can say.
Not definitely moving to Ponyville.
Of course we're silly. You said there's nothing left to study back home on the rock farm, so I might move to Ponyville.
like Maud is looking at her happy side, but then her deadpan side is basically facing each other. I think if somebody took a picture of that, it'd probably be a meme. But essentially, Maud tells Pinkie that she may consider going there, but it has to be based on Rock's decision, but is considering going to Ghastly Gorge. Yeah, Ghastly Gorge. Remember the place that Rainbow Dash had that race that almost got herself hurt and made the best pet win? Alright, the episode's reusing locations we haven't seen in older seasons. That's another plus.
Ponyville has better rocks than Ghastly Gorge. Challenge accepted. We'll drop your stuff off at my place and then hold on to your world, because it's about to rock!
Okay.
So essentially they basically show off as a gem cave, as Pinkie basically tries to show off how great the cave is, as Maud basically encounters Rarity and Spike again. And you would honestly kind of think that Maud would have some reaction. Well, obviously you can't expect a lot of reactions from Maud, but you would expect her to be like, "Hey Rarity, long time no see," considering that they literally met like almost pretty much a little over a whole season ago.
Congratulations on your doctorate. What are you doing now?
Talking to you.
Right. Well, if your trained eye happens to see a charge for a gem, I'm desperate to find one.
I found one.
Oh, you're an absolute darling. This will surely make my gown stand out at Countess Coloratura's holiday party.
Let's just say I'm laughing because it's fan fiction plot relevancy, just saying, because that fan fiction I've mentioned in the past couple of reviews is still a work in progress. Yes. Also, it's nice to know that Rarity has now gotten connections from Sapphire Shore and moved on to Countess Coloratura. I don't know if it's because her contract expired with Sapphire Shores and now she's moving on to Countess Coloratura, and it kind of makes you question how long has Rarity and Countess known each other to plan out these types of things. But then again, it probably would be a good thing that happened considering that Dickweed and Gallop isn't around, so that's a plus.
You know how
But Maud basically reveals that the gem cave is surrounded by common gems, according to Maud, as Pinkie desperately tries to impress Maud by showing the variety of gems around the place, but Maud is left, well, unimpressed, as Pinkie keeps getting wound up and more nervous that she Also, it would have been nice to tell Maud that during Tirith's reign that the Golden Oak Library also got destroyed. And it seems that amazingly, ever since the 3rd episode of Season 5, people tend to forget that the Golden Oak Library no longer exists.
Yes.
No, you haven't!
We literally just saw hundreds of them in the gem cave.
Oh, look at this rock!
So they're stingbush seed pods.
You know, I'm actually kind of wondering, are stingbush seeds real? Well, obviously I can tell they look very painful, I can tell. I'm surprised Pinkie feels anything in their left eye with one sticking right into it. Kind of makes you wonder. So as Pinkie desperately tries to impress Maud more and more, we also get to see a 2-second cameo of Tank, which honestly I'm actually kind of glad, because before I rewatched the episode I thought that Tank actually died after Thanks for the Memories. But yeah, it's nice to see his little 5-second cameo. And so Pinkie gets more and more desperate and is about to be disappointed, but Starlight eventually shows up and accidentally bumping into Maud, and they reveal they've actually met each other before.
Yeah, see, I was really hoping you'd tell me while I pretended to remember. How?
Alright, so we get a flashback of Maud basically doing her own thing as, well, evil Starlight was basically asking of where to find a powerful stone to basically enslave an entire village, and Maud was the one that ended up encouraging this to happen.
Entire village?
Yep. In a big cave.
Alright, so this is one of the derailments that I mentioned in regard to the Voice of Reason's review. He said that Maud basically assisting Starlight in enslaving an entire village is pretty much is basically to our town retroactive to allow Starlight to cause her insanity enslaving the entire village. Okay? Okay, yeah, obviously assisting Starlight's evil deeds, obviously that's a huge red flag, but affecting the overall episode when the past 8 minutes left me in stitches, that gives me the perfect opportunity to ask,
So fucking what?
yeah, so, yes, in retrospective, obviously it's not a good sign for Maud to help a villain, but how is she supposed to know? She was basically just minding her own business, not really doing anything, really. And how was she supposed to know that Starlight was enslaving an entire village? When she was just busy focusing on rocks. So because of that fact, it basically causes this opinion that this episode automatically sucks and it's the second worst episode of the whole show. Again, it gives you a lot of questions that just basically makes you think, are people really that blind and stupid? And we also get this funny reaction of Pinkie basically trying to laugh off of this entire scenario, not to think about that people like to forget.
And we help Starlight and sleep it down. No, Pony.
It's not like she's enslaved anybody lately.
Well, that's true, and especially since she saved Equestria, that basically also helps.
Well, great seeing you again. I gotta run a few errands.
So Pinkie continues to encourage Maud to try to go to Starlight, but they eventually do go along as Pinkie continues to be Pinkie.
Rocks take on different properties when interacting with matter. With the right to
So we see Maud and Starlight basically talk to each other as they basically talk about little things.
Messing with me.
Am I?
So, other than rocks, what else are you into?
Minerals, plate tectonics. Oh, and stand-up comedy, of course.
So let me get this straight. So critics like the Voice of Reason are chastising Maud's character for in helping Starlight enact something that happened 2 seasons ago, yet is completely going to ignore the fact that this episode gives us a little bit more insight to Maud's character. I mean, this scene basically shows that we do see Maud more of a developing character, as we see her more basically being beyond just rock-based, as she gets more different types of rocks and giving a stand-up comedy as a thing that she likes. So, again, what's the big deal? And we find out that Starlight also likes to fly kites, and we see that, and we basically see from there, we see Starlight and Maud's relationship.
That's okay, it's not as far as too heavy. But if they're too light, you got no ballast, and then good luck stacking against the AOI.
Yeah, so we see that Starlight and Maud's relationship, I think it's kind of like, in my opinion, I think it's kind of like the strong, silent type of relationship. Where they're they're basically two ponies who don't need to say a lot, and they just connect on each other on a really deep level. Kind of like the relationship between Dedue and Shamir and Fire Emblem Three Houses in a way. That's kind of the best how I can describe Maud and Starlight's relationship.
I'm starting to grow on me.
Unfortunately, Pinkie basically tries her best to encourage the friendship, but basically tries to kind of come off as desperate. a bit and trying to get along. But Maud and Starlight try to do their own thing and basically leave Pinkie in the dust as best they're able to.
There's no traffic sighted in front.
Oh, I know. But she always calms down. Eventually.
Keyword being eventually.
Why do you find rocks so fascinating?
Each one has a different story to tell. Let's Walter here. This tells me he's over 2,000 years old. You don't look a day over 600.
Wow. You can tell that from a line?
I didn't get a rock trip because I can shred on guitar like no Ponyville. Another reason I like rock. They don't exclude you if you're different than everybody.
Another example of seeing more of Maud's interest. She's fascinated by rocks because they're the one thing that doesn't make her feel excluded, and they each have their own story to tell. So again, what's the big reason for all the hate of this episode? Can someone explain that to me? Because I'm finding this episode to be incredibly fascinating.
You're beautiful and strong, but they don't judge you or make you feel less than in any way. I think I'm starting to like rocks too.
You gotta love Maud's little smirk. So seriously, what is the big issue? Can somebody get the voice of reason on the line and explain this to me? Because I'm not understanding it. So eventually, from journeying it, they actually find a really beautiful cave that's hiding within the in the cavern. But Pinkie is ending up distracting them and causing the friendship to be annoyed. And then we get the one thing, yeah, I will agree, is that Pinkie going out of her way to purposely bury Maud and Starlight into a cave just so they could bond.
Tripping on a rock at this very moment, and now I'm falling down. Oh, no! My accidental clumsiness has trapped us here. We shall be forced to bond until we're rescued.
Yeah, about that, Pinkie, in the words of Shinjiro Aragaki,
That's bullshit.
yeah, this is the one thing I will agree about the episode, even though it is kind of the point, is that one thing of Pinkie going out of her way to try to bury her best friend's protege and her own sister in a cave just so they could bond, yes, I will agree, that's going a bit too far. But in retrospective, it actually works. I'll get more into that when we talk about it. But essentially, Starlight and Buzz find a way to escape. But Pinkie gets more and more desperate to try to basically, let's be honest, pretty much stalk them at this point.
Progress is fresh. And tomorrow we can have a friendship lunch. What's your favorite kind of almond cupcake? Mine, jalapeno red velvet.
Let's be honest, because even though it's Pinkie Pie and we shouldn't question it, this is honestly one of those moments where you literally just want to shout at the screen.
Oh dear God, shut up!
Yeah, because it's getting to that point. So essentially Starlight and Maud get more annoyed, but basically Starlight is also rubbing off on Maud.
Yeah, about that.
The problem is, when you two were alone, I couldn't get down or spend your friendship probability. Were you making Starlight smile? How will Starlight smile to frown ratio? Anything over 5 to 1 is poopy.
Well, I'm pretty sure since the audience has been seeing the episode, I'm sure they were doing just fine.
Because you smile like this.
Well, this is your sister we're talking about, and she pretty much has the amount of expressions on her face, as I've stated before, like Lucy from the Loud House and Gus from the Redonkulous Race.
0 time.
Oh, Maud, don't be so hard on yourself. You've got the best friendship maker in Ponyville, huh?
Yeah, so to save you some time, it basically gets to the point where Maud is contemplating and pretty much leaves in the middle of the night and leaves a letter the next morning by basically saying this is based on a rock decision, and I believe Ghastly Gorge is much better for me, so I'm leaving Ponyville, which ends up tearing out Pinkie's heart, and she goes to see Starlight to tell her what happened.
If this is about brunch, you know what? I'll take a red velvet omelet. Sounds gross. I just can't. Come on, Wes. It's the middle of the night. Oh, I guess Ghastly Gorge really does have the best rocks. Why couldn't you two just be friends? Pinkie Pie, I like Maud. You do? Yeah. She's weird. Hey! No, in a good way. She sees the world in a totally different way than any pony I've ever met. She accepts me for who I am. She taught me that a rock is never just a rock, and she can make anything funny.
So, I know I keep harping on this, but what's the big issue that caused this episode to garner this much hate? Unless that hate is just non-existent and I'm just listening to the opinion of just one asshole. Because, yeah, essentially we're basically seeing Starlight basically coming into her own. She's able to make friends and on her own and is able to understand them through, well, the friendship lessons that she's gotten through like the past 30-something episodes. And we see her being able to understand why Maud is the way she is. She was able to do what the main six could not all the way back in Season 4, and not only get along with Maud, but be able to understand her.
We never had to say it, but we got each other.
Yeah, and like I said before, this friendship, like I said, is pretty much similar to Dudu and Shamir's relationship. Yeah, where they don't speak a lot, they just get one another.
We're becoming friends? I think so.
And pretty much Starlight tells Pinkie, we were becoming friends until you kept screwing it up. And that kind of leads me to Pinkie. This is kind of the issue that I brought up earlier, that yes, I do agree that trapping in her best friend's protege and her sister into a cage just so she can bond, yes, that is going too far. But I think that's kind of the point. Because since this is Season 7, I think this episode is demonstrating that even though, as Rainbow Dash put it 2 episodes ago, that they're the poster ponies when it comes to awesome friendship, this episode shows that despite 7 seasons of character development, they don't have all the answers. They can't solve every friendship problem by themselves. And that they can't just be these awesome friendly ponies that can be able to have other ponies be friends with them. Basically, they can't help other ponies be friends with another pony at the drop of a hat. Because not everything will work for some ponies. And some ponies like Maud, the way that Pinkie goes about it, it doesn't work for her. Speaking of which, we see her going into the Ghastly Gorge, and basically you go after a rock and finds an emerald jasper, only for her to get swallowed up by the mountain eels as Pinkie tries to find her, and, well, she finds her getting almost eaten by the giant eel. Alright, the her finding a carjack moment, that's it's Pinkie Pie, don't question it moment. So while the two ponies flee for their lives, Maud tries to explain her reasoning as to why that Pinkie shouldn't have come here, while they try to flee from their lives from the giant pony-eating eel.
I even made a new friend.
Is it a rock?
Yes. I don't belong in Ponyville. It only proves I'm better off all by myself, like I always have been.
Don't say that! It was all my fault! I thought I knew everything about making friends, but I didn't even know my own sister! I forced you to do things my way, but my way isn't your way!
The voice of reason, if you're watching this, I have a little something to ask you. And to quote Back to the Future, hello? Anybody home? So, let me get this straight. So, 2 character derailments to make one character look bad and the other 2 are worse. that qualifies the episode to be the second worst season of show. Now, this qualifies as the second worst episode of the season, and yet Magic Duel gets a free pass. And yeah, sorry, I'm never letting that go.
This way.
Okay, so anyways, basically Maude returns as Pinkie apologizes and she realizes that she doesn't have all the answers when it comes to friendship.
I'm sorry.
I know you did it out of love. You're my best sister friend forever.
Oh, Maude, I love you bigger than all Equestria.
And you melt my heart more easily than sodium-rich Baccio clay alcohol.
I don't know what that means. But please, 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 please give Ponyville another chance. More importantly, give me another chance to leave you alone.
What do you think, Boulder?
Boulder's probably thinking like, do it! So she basically decides to go to Ponyville and flies a kite with its Starlight to basically bond with their friendship.
No way.
Maybe after this we could get right on your place.
Totally. Where is it?
Oh yeah, speaking of flying kites, I did hear the news of Angela Lansbury's recent passing, so rest in peace to Angela Lansbury. I just thought that I would throw that out there because I saw Mary Poppins Returns, which I personally don't recommend, but I just a little food for thought. So basically, Maude is now living in the cave that she and Starlight found and become friends. And Pinkie decides to leave, and that pretty much ends the episode. As Starlight and Maude no doubt bond. And that was rock solid friendship. And yeah, so that was rock solid friendship, and I don't see your issue. Honestly, this episode was really just a lot of fun to watch. I mean, there are a lot of moments that have really just left me in stitches. We get to dive more deeper into Starlight to see what she likes and what she really is a fan of, what makes her find rock so fascinating, and we get more moments of her that are just beyond just rock. Like I said, this is the kind of development we see from Maude that honestly is a lot more believable compared to when our first episode. And we do get to see how evolved Starlight has become after her initial appearance, and we see that her friendship lessons are taking her to the next level, and we see her being able to make friends. Yes, I will agree, the one moment of Pinkie trapping both Maude and Starlight in a cave just so she could bond, yes, that's a little extreme. But I think that's kind of the point that the episode's trying to make, is that despite so much character development for 7 seasons, they don't have all the answers when it comes to friendship. And that's basically kind of the point that I think the episode was trying to take. So really, why is there so much hate for this episode? Or again, it's one of those episodes that apparently that I like but everybody else hates, or it was never hateable. I'm not understanding this. I'll probably have to ask this because it really just scratches my head as to why. I think this is kind of like Apple Family Reunion, where I'm just not understanding the hate, and you know what? I don't understand, and you know what? I don't want to either. So honestly, rock solid friendship is, let's be honest, an A-. Really, the Pinkie trapping cave thing, that's probably the only negative I can give this episode, but there's nothing else to say that I outright hate. I thoroughly enjoyed the episode. So yeah, rock solid friendship is an A-. Alright, next time we will look into another episode that, honestly, because I haven't seen in a while, I'm not really sure how to take it, but hopefully next time I won't come down with COVID, and hopefully I won't be sick and infected, But if I'm not, next time we will look at Fluttershy Leans In. See you guys next time. Bye.